Thank you all again for being here today. In case you missed it, my name is Ryan Peck, and I'm the Senior Deputy Athletics Director for External Affairs, and I'm honored to be with you as we celebrate this special occasion. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the tragic events that recently took place in New Orleans. This tragedy has deeply impacted our TCU football family, the Besh family, our Horned Frog community, and our hearts go out to everyone affected. This is a momentous occasion for TCU as we take another step forward in shaping the future of our athletic department together. This moment reflects TCU's commitment to its new strategic plan, Lead On, Values in Action, where athletics plays a vital role, serving as the main pillar in this plan. Under Mike Buddie's leadership, we're confident that this vision will come to life in new ways that will empower our student athletes, energize our fans, and strengthen the entire Horned Frog community. And if time permits, several individuals will be available to you for interviews following the press conference. And now, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce the President and soon-to-be Chancellor of Texas Christian University, Daniel Pullen. President Pullen.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for the introduction, and thank you for your leadership and your dedication to TCU athletics. Ryan, if you don't know, serves as a critical component to our future plan. Our Board of Trustees recently approved a decadal forward view for Texas Christian University with 4 distinct pillars, one of which is athletics, and he's the leader of that pillar. So thank you very much for your thought leadership and all you do to make TCU one of the great universities where there are no trade-offs, where you have great athletics, great academics, great connection with your community, right? Great brand reputation, and where you're set up for lifelong success, whether it's on the field or in the boardroom or in the community. So thank you, Ryan. To echo Ryan, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge that horrific event took place in New Orleans, and one of our incredible student athletes, Jack Besh, lost his brother, Tiger, to a really senseless crime. It's deeply impacted the Horned Frog community. And head coach, as you might imagine, Sonny Dykes, is where he needs to be. He's in Louisiana. He's at that funeral. He's representing TCU, and he's providing support for Jack and his family. So he sends his regards. He sends his congratulations to Mike. But he's where he should be for our students and their families. And it really speaks to the strength of TCU athletics today. And it's a testament to the vision and commitment of talent, the folks that I'll recognize here shortly, and starting so with our incredible coaching staff and student athletes. They're doing so much work both on and off the field, and they're doing it for our Horned Frog alumni and our Horned Frog fans. So if you're watching or if you're here today, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're a student athlete or a coach that's here today, we just stand to be recognized. I'd like to begin by introducing and acknowledging the many of the key players who have contributed to this process. When I mention your name, please stand and wave, starting with the Vice Chair of our Board of Trustees, Eddie Clark, the Chair of our Board of Intercollegiate Athletics Committee, Rusty Reed, former Chairman of the Board, Mark Johnson, and all other current or former trustees. Please stand to be recognized. I'd like to also ask TC Chancellor Victor Boschini. He's been involved in every step of this process, every decision over the last 20-plus years to take a really great university and make it elite, squarely put it amongst the finest institutions anywhere in the nation, anywhere in the world. Remarkable gentleman. Congratulations and thank you. Someone who lifts my wings every day, my wife, and a lifelong educator herself, Dr. Ann Blunser-Pullen, is here in support, so thank you for joining and supporting me. We're also pleased that Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark is able to make it today. He's committed to not only the conference, but the individual institutions. He's an innovator, he's a thought partner and leader. He's really elevating the conference to new heights that we've not seen, and we're very, very proud to work under his leadership. Brett, thank you so much for joining us. Are there any members of the search committee, as well as any members from Turnkey ZRG, our athletics consulting firm, that are here? Please wave and be recognized. And finally, I would like to acknowledge the incredible athletics and marketing communication staff who've pulled this press conference together. This took a lot of work, and a lot of it happened over the holidays, so thank you for sacrificing some time with family and friends to make this such a successful opportunity for us to move forward as an institution and as a family here at Texas Christian University. Especially, I'd like to recognize Mike Sinkfield, who served as the interim athletics director as we move through this process. He is a cornerstone of our programs, a cornerstone of our progress. He has devoted such a significant portion of his career and life to lift TCU athletics. He really is the best of our dedicated Horned Frogs. Thank you for everything, Mike. So, when you're coming off a year of multiple national championships, a record-breaking showing in the Olympic Games as we had student athletes representing America as well as countries around the globe, recently playing for a college football national championship, and as you've heard, making athletics a pillar of an all-new institutional strategic plan, the bar is incredibly high at Texas Christian University. And so when we began the process of finding our next athletics director, one thing became very clear in the early conversations with our steering committee, with our board of trustees, our student athletes, our coaches, our staff, our alumni. And here's that clarity. We have built an incredible athletics foundation at Texas Christian University. And what we now need is a leader that builds upon that excellence. And so what I discovered as we spoke to the candidates was not just how we see TCU athletics, but also how our peers view TCU athletics. And our peers view TCU as a program that competes at the highest level, across every field, every court, every arena. And I heard throughout this process something that I believe in my core. TCU athletics is a force to be reckoned with. We have the potential to soar even higher as we look over the next 10 years and beyond. And through this search, it became clear that the leader we needed to be rooted in the birthplace of some of our greatest leaders in American history. And we found that leader at the United States Military Academy at West Point. That leader is Mike Buddie. You don't have to look any further than this past college football season to see Mike's impact as the athletics director at Army. Under his leadership, the cadets won 12 games and were ranked in the CFP rankings. He has more than 20 years of D1 athletics experience. He's taken top programs even higher with his strategic mindset, how he solves problems in complex situations, and it's been changing over the years. He also has significant experience in spearheading complicated and remarkable fundraising efforts. He's seen facility upgrades, the like that Army's never seen before. He's led with character and values at every turn, also in perfect alignment with TCU's mission. We asked ourselves many questions during this process. Will past success translate into what needs to be done in this new world of intercollegiate athletics? Can the new AD lead and win, all while leaning into values, character, and TCU's commitment to innovation? And the answer that kept coming back was consistent and ultimately simple. Great leaders lead. They lead with value. They lead with grit. Great leaders stand by their people, the mission of their institution, and the strategy of this very special place. Great leaders innovate regardless of what the world gives them or in ways that they see the world needs to change. And Mike Buddie is that exceptionally gifted leader. And today, he is the leader of TCU Athletics. He will elevate our programs and lead us all into the future. And today, he is a Horned Frog. Please join me in welcoming Texas Christian University's new Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Mike Buddie.
Thank you, President Pullen, Chancellor Bashini, Ryan. Appreciate this warm welcome. I guess warm may not be the right word for it. It's been a whirlwind, as you can imagine, but you can imagine our comfort level when we woke up this morning to 23 degrees. I don't know who pulled that string just to make us feel right at home. It is not our doing. Please don't blame that on us. You can blame us for a lot of other things in the near future, but not the weather. But we are thrilled to be here. This is a great room. I apologize. I hope you appreciate how creepy it is to see your face on a 200-foot jumbotron and on every television screen. Today is a day of gratitude. We can't wait to get started. In complete transparency, we packed a bag for a bowl game on Christmas night, and then a week vacation to rest and relax in Florida. We were not prepared to be writing speeches and wearing coats and ties. We didn't expect our vacation to end in Fort Worth. I can only imagine the Christmas tree in our house at home right now has no needles on it whatsoever. But what a great reason to take a bit of a segue into a different role in a different community. And it just dawned on me that we live in Texas. This is unbelievable. So I mentioned gratitude. Clearly, you don't get to work in this profession or ascend to the opportunity to lead an organization like TCU Athletics without a lot of help. For me, professionally, it started at Wake Forest University. Ron Wellman was my athletic director. 10 years he spent pouring into me personally, professionally, teaching me the ins and outs of how to be a professional administrator, to lead with integrity, to be mission-driven, to be values-based. That started at an early age in my second professional career after a little 13-year hiatus is chasing the dream of Major League Baseball. From there, I got the first opportunity to lead an athletics department at Furman University. Very similar color scheme. I still have all my neckties, thank goodness. But President Elizabeth Davis was the one who finally answered that question. He's never been an athletic director before. Does he deserve the opportunity? She gave me that opportunity and found a great home, and our son got a degree from Furman University. So special place there that led me into the opportunity of a lifetime to learn from 3- and 4-star generals and be surrounded by colonels and young men and women who have raised their hand to serve our country, and spent nearly 6 years at the United States Military Academy, further learning how to lead with character, how to pay attention to a mission, not just read it, but live it. So Lieutenant General Darrell Williams gave me that opportunity. Lieutenant General Steve Gilland continued to pour into us and allow us to have the successes that we've had. So certainly without all of those opportunities and leadership and mentoring, I would not be here today. On the personal side, my mom and dad certainly started the foundation of really pouring into myself and my 2 older brothers how important the intersection of athletics and academics are. We were not allowed to pick up a football, a baseball, or go to our wrestling mat in the basement, believe it or not, until we had finished our homework. And so that instilled at us at a young age that you've got to focus on your academics, and I carry that with me today. I was fortunate enough to have administrators at Wake Forest who, even though I thought I was going to be a pretty decent draft pick and pursue this professional baseball route, they were always whispering in my ear to keep registering for an extra class here and there so I could maybe be in a position to graduate in 3.5 years and take that opportunity to pursue that goal, and that's always been on my mind as well. My 2 older brothers used to kick my face in every day, taught me how to be competitive, how to scratch and claw and fight and have that grit and tenacity that's necessary, not only to be a professional baseball player, but certainly to lead an athletics department. I learned at an early age, you need to be aggressive and fight if you want to get that last brownie at the dinner table. So I guess thank you to my 2 older brothers. And then certainly the core 4, my crew here with me today, This is their third move. My kids are here with us. This is their third time that they've had to uproot. A little bit older now, 24 and 21, so it's not as drastic. But when you live the life that we lead, when you live the life of a coach or an administrator, moves are part of the journey. And so I'm thrilled that they were with us today. I've got Zachary, my 24-year-old, part-time musician, part-time environmental biologist, part-time school teacher, full-time awesome. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Our daughter Zoe, who's got 3 semesters left at Cornell University up in New York, who her 3-hour trip to see mom and dad just turned into a little bit longer of a jaunt, but we're so proud of them both. And then my wife Tracy, who was crazy or maybe unintelligent enough to fall in love with a minor league baseball player who, this is probably our 85th move. When you factor in all of the minor league reassignments, getting called up, getting sent down, and she's been along for every adventure, and really excited about this one. So gratitude abounds. Commissioner Yormark, thank you for making the trip to be here on a Monday morning. Really appreciate it. So when I got the call from Chad Chatlos, he said, what do you think about TCU? I immediately had the most positive of a response. I was assigned by Ron Wellman in 2012 to head up our capital projects team, and we were trying to renovate our football stadium, stay relevant, upgrade the basketball. And he sent myself and a colleague. We visited 17 colleges and universities across the country over 3 months. TCU stood out. The vibrancy, the community, the energy, the buzz, the unbelievable combination of higher education, values-based learning, teacher-scholar model, all within the Fort Worth community, which was just teeming with energy and excitement and just felt at home. And then I got to view the facilities, which this is 2012. I mean, they're even grown by leaps and bounds since then. And it just left this indelible mark and impression on you. So I said to Chad, heck yeah, put my name in there. Then I started actually digging in and reading about the accomplishments of Chancellor Boschini over his decades at the helm. And the lead-on strategic plan. I read about the values, the collective values of this institution, and they're in complete alignment with my personal values. I love innovation. One of the things I loved at West Point was there was no manual that you could follow to try to figure out how to stay competitive in today's landscape. We shouldn't follow a manual. TCU's not going to follow a manual. We're going to take this hard reset that has taken place in college athletics right now. The future is kind of this unwritten script. And through leadership and the business acumen of our leaders, there is no better time and no better place to be at a place like Texas Christian University. I feel honored and thrilled to be a part of this, to be given this great responsibility. The only reason I'm here is because of the thousands of student athletes, cadet athletes, coaches, and staff who have elevated my profile by their success. I have never said that anybody works for me. We all work together for the 500 student athletes here at TCU. They deserve the absolute most extraordinary experience of their time on a college campus. It's the greatest time of our lives. We want to create memories for them that last a lifetime. So I look forward. I appreciate all the well wishes from so many people in this room. Mike Singfeld, I got to echo it. Being an interim AD is a thankless, tough position to be in. The communication, the coordination, the transparency has been wonderful. Can't wait to roll up our sleeves and get started. First, we've got to get home and get that Christmas tree out of the living room and vacuum up those needles. But thank you so much for the warm welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We can't wait to get started. Go Frogs.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, President Pullen, for both sharing the vision and excitement for the future of TCU athletics. It's clear that the road ahead is inspiring and full of promise. Now I'll move to the Q&A portion of our program. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Connor has a microphone on this side, and Jerry on the right side will come with you. We ask that you kindly identify yourself and your organization before asking your question. Let's get started. Who would like to ask the first question?
Hi, Mike. Melissa Treebwasser with Frogs Insider. What do you see as the biggest challenge facing a university like TCU as we move into the great unknown, so to speak, in college athletics?
I think the biggest, can you hear me? I think the biggest challenge for anyone right now is just being able to articulate the value proposition of your institution. Now that there's revenue sharing coming this summer on top of the NIL, I just think institutions that just want to recruit young men and women who want the biggest price tag are going to have challenges. What I love about TCU is the value proposition is extends so much further beyond a price tag. We want to recruit and find young people who still want to have an education, who are willing to be held accountable, want to have a degree that's going to change their lives for the next 60 years, not just take that highest dollar amount paycheck. And so being able to certainly, we're going to compete at the highest levels of revenue sharing, but we still want to find kids who care, kids who want to be good teammates, active members of our community, great character kids. And I think that they exist here already. They've been able to find them. As I looked at the stable of head coaches that are currently here and the success that they've had, it's a great balance of all of those things: accountability, character development, and then certainly athletics development. But the challenge, I think, for all college athletics will be, how do you convince young people to just stay here for 4 years and buy in to the community, to the campus culture? I think great athletics programs elevates the student experience, not just the student-athlete experience. Every student with the right group of coaches and student-athletes benefits from a vibrant athletics community that's successful and certainly competitive.
Hey, Mike, Jeremy Clark, Horned Frog Bliss. We talked the other day, and you're here in Fort Worth. I think everyone would like to know, what are your thoughts on Fort Worth so far, just being here, and the amount of time you've already been here?
Well, another full transparency. Our flight was delayed yesterday. We got here just in time to get to the Chancellor's house and have a great dinner. My experience, our experience in Fort Worth was we played here against Air Force at Globe Life Field a couple of years ago. Had the opportunity to practice at the facilities here. And then we also played in the Armed Forces Bowl in 2021. And I think the bowl game is a great way to experience Fort Worth. You got 4 days where you get to do kind of a little bit of everything. Downtown is just a phenomenal gem. We love walkable cities, the cleanliness, the friendliness, sweet tea. There's so many things that we're so thrilled to be heading back south. Not just the weather, but to us, it's just the community. The thousands of text messages I've got, everybody said TCU, it's a gold mine, what a gem, what a great opportunity. You're going to love Fort Worth. When I got my other jobs, everybody said, congratulations, Furman's lucky to have you. Congratulations, West Point is remarkable. They didn't talk about the community and the surrounding area. And Fort Worth just kind of is TCU, and TCU is Fort Worth. And the community relationships, the pride that both organizations have are elevating not just one brand, but both brands. And so part of the problem is we've been looking at houses online and there's too many. We're having a hard time narrowing it down. It's usually the opposite, right? You're hoping to find a place. So to me, what stands out is just the community feel, the friendliness, the open arms, and the vibrancy of the area.
Hey, Mike, Barry Lewis with TCU on SI. I've heard you say some of this already, but just elaborate a little bit more. At Army, with the cadet athletes, you really haven't had the NIL experience. What do you say to those that say you don't have that NIL experience, what you're going to bring, and what Army has taught you through that?
Well, attacking complex problems. What I take solace in is I don't think this is a complex problem. NIL is going to kind of take a back seat to the new revenue sharing model. And I'm thrilled that TCU was one of the first institutions nationally to raise their hand and say, we're going to participate at the highest level. NIL, fundraising, it's all based on relationships and trust and being able to shape and articulate a vision. What I love about articulating the vision of TCU is that they're in a position of strength. They're on an upward trajectory. The strategic plan mentions athletics as a specific pillar. There are very few institutions in the country that have the courage and the commitment to make that assessment and to publicly, unashamedly say winning is important. And so I think being active in the community, building relationships, building trust, taking the opportunity to spend time with our student athletes who are the best endorsement and the best asset and the best representation of why we do what we do, will provide us those opportunities. The other part is Jeremiah Donati left, but the rest of the team hasn't. They're great people here that have been thinking about this problem. And absolutely, one of the things that Sink will have a challenge is he's going to have to train me a little bit to do the job. But that's great that the pieces are in place, and there are challenges at West Point. NIL is not one of them, but there's other problems that you learn how to attack through methodology, process, transparency, and I look forward to taking on that as well.
Hey, Mike, good morning. Corey Smith, TCU Magazine. Welcome to Fort Worth. What are your more immediate goals in the role? And then looking past the first year, what are your long-term goals here at TCU?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Thank you for being here. So immediately goal, I think you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I love the situation that TCU Athletics is in right now. We have 7 women's teams that are currently ranked. So I'm gonna sit down and listen and learn from the people who have a great sense of the community and what the immediate challenges are. Certainly, there's been a lot of thought put into the strategic plan from an athletic standpoint. So huge wealths of knowledge, not only up at this table, but in this room. So certainly help shepherd that process, get up to speed as quickly as possible. It's hard to undo decisions early, so I'd like to ease our way into it, but certainly support our student athletes from day one, whatever that might mean. It could be resources, it could have nothing to do with resources. Get to know our coaches, start to build trust not only with our coaches, but our partners across campus. It's extremely important that they understand that I am committed to their values. Their values are my values. And then long term, we need to position TCU for the best opportunity in the future. What the commissioner is doing with the Big 12 is unbelievable. We watched Arizona State play. They were ready to win a college football playoff game, and you can argue that they should have. Being a strong member of the Big 12 puts you in every conversation to win any national championship in any sport. So certainly doing everything we can to lean in, to pour into our student athletes, to give them those opportunities to continue to develop, make sure that the facilities are where they need to be, and then start shaping the business side of how do we do revenue share, how are we going to do the payroll, and all these things that sound weird to be talking about with college athletics, but are very important to move forward and make sure that our coaches have the best opportunity to get the type of recruits that will represent this community extremely well.
We have time for one final question before we wrap up today's program.
I'm Mike, Carter Yates with Dave Campbell's Texas Football. You mentioned that NIL wasn't a challenge at Army, but I'm sure you had a bunch of challenges you had to work through at West Point. How did that uniquely prepare you to come to TCU?
Well, I mentioned not having a manual, right? I mean, not having your NIL squared away can impact your ability to successfully score a recruit that you want. Where I'm coming from, when Russia invades the Ukraine, that really impacts your ability to sell a young person to matriculate to West Point. We found a way to go 12-2 this year in college football. We had 1 3-star recruit on our roster. So what that experience has brought me, apart from learning character development and leadership and continuing to understand what values-based really means, you think of ways around the beaten path to scratch and claw and fight for inches, because when you get to this level, to win a Big 12 championship, to win a national championship, you have to win in the margins. Those little things become big things at the Big 12 championship basketball game that's going to be decided by 1 point. So all of those things, I don't sleep a ton. I have a minor league mentality, which is when you get drafted by the New York Yankees and you get sent to A-ball, and I'm sure Sarloos is in here somewhere.
Right there.
Your only goal is to get out of A-ball to AA. And your only goal in AA is to get out of AA to AAA. And you do that by understanding the bunt defenses and the pickoff plays and staying out of trouble and not missing curfew. And that's how I attack my day-to-day job. Every day, it might be a random Wednesday afternoon to you, but like, what are we doing today to gain on our competition? And how do we help everybody in the athletics department pull in the same direction and understand that if we all care about this effort as much as our coaches do, because our coaches, if they succeed or fail, if they fail, they have to pull their kids out of school, they have to relocate across the country. They are all in days, nights, weekends. And I'm all about work-life balance. But the mentality for all of us, whether we work on the facilities staff, in the compliance office, we all need to feel, hey, we need to help these young people succeed, like our jobs depend on it, because then really great things can happen.
Great. Thank you all for being here today and for your thoughtful questions. We are thrilled to welcome Mike Buddie to the TCU family and are eager to see the impact he will have on TCU athletics. As a reminder, AD Buddie, President Pullen, Commissioner Yormark, and several of our TCU coaches will be available for interviews immediately following the conference, time permitting. Mark Cohen will coordinate these on this side of the stage. Thank you again for joining us during this exciting new chapter. Have a wonderful day. Go Frogs.
I got to do 2 frogs in one day.
Good job. Good job. Both of you, great job.
Man, that was nice and relaxing for you, wasn't it?
I love it. This is my favorite press conference.